guys, welcome back to JJ's Football Corner. England versus Norway. Haaland versus Kane. The perfect finisher versus the complete striker. Which way will the pendulum swing at the end of today's match? Will it be an upset in Norway's favour, or will England come up trump and win this match? Let's dissect it. Let's look into it. Once again, guys, welcome back to JJ's Football Corner. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I like the support so far. Thank you, guys, once more for tuning into my short analysis of the match to come. Now, guys, this match promises to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Again, like I said, this is a battle between Haaland and Kane. This is a battle for the Golden Boot. This is more than just a quarter final, right? This is a battle between two of the world's best strikers. If you ask me, I think Harry Kane is a more complete player than Haaland. But Haaland in front of goal is deadly. Haaland in front of goal is an assassin. He's a scorpion in front of goal. He's venomous. He's just elite in front of goal. But I do believe that Harry Kane offers more. As we know, Harry Kane sometimes drops deep to collect the ball, and Harry Kane is just an all-action forward, man. He's a callback to a different time, and he's one of the best strikers that I've personally watched, and one of the best players that I've personally watched. So this is a battle for the Golden Boot. Erling Haaland has 7 World Cup goals. Harry Kane has 6 World Cup goals. Haaland averages 1.4 goals per game. You can do the maths. Harry is just one behind him for this match. So key to this, England has to find some kind of way to nullify Erling Haaland, which is difficult. If you watch club football, you'll understand this. Once Haaland goes on a rampage, I don't know if you know Juggernaut from X-Men. He's that guy. Like, once Haaland is on a run, on a rampage, he's gonna score. He's gonna score. Like, Haaland is that guy that gets up and is like, you know what, I'm getting 2 today, and he'll get 2 today. But there are other times where, if you can cut off the supply chain to Haaland, you can nullify him. And this is where the midfield battle, comes in. So the midfield battle, Odegaard versus Jude Bellingham. So this could actually be where the match is won or lost for either teams, right? As you know, Odegaard, he's Norway's chief creator. He's the one that controls the tempo. He's the one that's going to be supplying Haaland with chances. He's excellent in passing the ball between the lines. I'm not a super fan of Odegaard. Arsenal fans love him. He's the captain of Arsenal. I think Odegaard's a little bit overrated. A little bit. Just a little bit overrated. I think he's a good player. But I think at times, especially for Arsenal at least, there are times when he'll disappear. He'll disappear in the big moments. And this is definitely a big moment. This is the quarterfinal of the World Cup. Odegaard has to come to the party. Who often steps up in the big moments is the other guy I mentioned, Bellingham. Now, Bellingham is a cheat code. He's an athletic specimen. He's a box-to-box engine. He's powerful, on the ball, off the ball. He can tackle. He runs into the channels. He's an all-action midfielder. He can create goals. He can score goals. Can, pass the ball long, pass it short. He's all action, and like I said, this is a guy who thrives in big matches. These are the occasions that Bellingham, stand up. I remember reading, I won't, say his name because I don't want to be sued, but a prominent, let's say, journalist, was calling for Bellingham to actually be benched, and What does he do? The very next match, he scores 2 goals at the Azteca in in Mexico. Like he just stands up in the big moments. He's that guy. He takes it on to himself. He embraces difficulty, and that's why I think Bellingham will also be quite key for this match. So here, England has to stop Odegaard from dictating play, and Norway has to find some sort of way to try and nullify Bellingham, which will be difficult. Like I said, this guy is an all-action midfielder as well. That's gonna be an interesting battle in midfield there. Key here, and I think a lot of people have not really been paying attention to this guy, Antonio Nusa on the wing. You know, versus Anthony Gordon. I think a lot of people underrate Anthony Gordon. He recently got a move to Barcelona for 70 million. I think a lot of people underrate his ability. I think Gordon is one of those guys who, listen, on his day, he can be unplayable. And I think Nusa is an up-and-coming talent. He's a very explosive dribbler. He has excellent 1v1 ability. Very quick, very rapid guy, very dangerous on the counters, and he creates a lot of space for Haaland. Anthony Gordon also electric. He presses relentlessly. I think that's why Barcelona actually bought him, despite the protestations from a lot of English fans who I guess they were rooting for Rashford to get to maintain his place in Barcelona, but they opted for Anthony Gordon. But yeah, Anthony Gordon is rapid as well. Presses relentlessly. Dangerous in the transition, and he's a guy who I'm not sure. I think he's had maybe 3 or 4 assists this World Cup. So he's a guy who creates chances as well for Kane, for Bellingham. So that's something else that we have to look forward to, the wing battle between Nusa and Gordon there. Saka so far for England has been a little hot cold. I believe he has 1 or 2 assists. He's not fully fit, but I still think he'll start. I don't believe Madueke will start. But I think it more comes down to the what Nusa and Gordon will do in this match. So once again, the keys to victory is for Norway. Odegaard has to have one of his best matches, right? They need to, try and score first. They need to get the ball to Haaland as quickly, as early as possible, as often as possible. Use Nusa's pace on the counter attack there, and they have to stay compact defensively. They have to try and find a way to nullify Bellingham as well. Again, that's gonna be very difficult. He's a very powerful midfielder there. For England, stop Odegaard, because he's gonna be that guy feeding. Stop Nusa, they're gonna be feeding Haaland. And again, I forgot to point this out. Whoever plays right back is gonna have a long day, man. Because I think Kwanzaa is out now. Maybe Kanza plays over that side. They're gonna have a long day. I think Andrew Kanza will probably play on that side. So they're gonna have a long day, at right back. England has to be on point for this. They need to win the midfield battle. They need to suppress Norway as much as possible. And Kane has to, with Kane's movement, they need to utilize that. Kane is, like I said, Kane likes to drop deep. So they have to utilize that movement, use the pockets that Kane will create, that Anthony Gordon will create, and take advantage of set pieces, man. Once get those balls into the box for Kane, for Bellingham, for them to run on to, for them to head in, and yeah, man. But overall, I think this is gonna be a tough match. I don't think it's gonna be as easy as some people claim, but I still predict England to win. I still predict England to win this match 2-1. Man, 2-1 even sounds, You know what? I'm gonna go for a 3-2 classic, man. I just think that Haaland. I can see Haaland scoring 2 goals. I don't think England defensively is the best. I don't think Norway defensively is the best either. Kane is on form. Haaland is on form. Garden is assisting. Nusa is playing well. Odegaard's assisting. I'm gonna go England 3, Norway 2. I think this is gonna be a shootout, and yeah, I think England will just clinch it just by being the better side, and I think they have enough off the bench to should they need backup or anything like that to really come in and affect the match. So that's my prediction, guys. Remember to like, share, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know, who you think is gonna win this match, who you think is gonna score. And remember, guys, to subscribe. I have 22 subscribers so far. Let's get to 30 subscribers by the end of the video. And thanks, guys. Thanks for listening, and let's see how this match goes.